So, how close did Donald Trump actually get to staging a coup that would have allowed him to hang on to the presidency? And what does this experience say about our future elections? I mean, this is a playbook that it looks like people are going to continue to run. What do you think, Bob?
Okay. Well, first of all, what we found and what really surprised us was that this was a national security emergency. That Chairman Milley, head of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the number one military advisor to President Trump, was uh, very alarmed. And there are two calls. They'd been portrayed as secret. Actually, they were not. They were on a
Okay.
top secret
Okay.
back channel. And it was a situation where there is intelligence. First, that the Chinese, this is before the election last year, Chinese might kind of thought the United States was going to attack them, which is the worst possible situation for a military person. The seeds of miscommunication lead to war. And the second call was 2 days after the January 6th riot, when the Chinese were worried that the United States was going to collapse. What's going on? And so Milley is trying to calm down General Lee, the head of the Chinese military, and they had a 5-year relationship. And you see the details of in the book from our reporting. It's a very alarming moment for the country. What's interesting is the country and the world didn't know. This was all classified and kept under wraps. And when we found out about it, this is the horror and the nightmare of having a president like Trump who does not really understand not just how he is seen domestically in the United States, but this really spun up China, Russia, and Iran.
So Robert Costa, though, this episode, these two episodes, these phone calls in your book really have provoked a lot of discussion and debate over the propriety of General Milley's actions. Whether, this was somebody who had no other option in this situation, or whether he violated the chain of command. Republicans, in fact, have been calling for either him to be fired or to resign. What did you guys decide about the appropriateness of what General Milley did?
Our reporting shows that this was a long unfolding story. That phone call on January 8th, 2021 was not some kind of isolated event that happened in a vacuum. It goes back to October 30th, 2020, days before the election, when Chairman Milley spoke with General Lee of the PLA on the phone, trying to calm the Chinese military down, the Chinese uh, uh, government from thinking that the U.S. in some way was going to attack. That was uh, the belief based on some intelligence reports and miscommunication. Our reporting shows that people believe at the top ranks of the military that miscommunication can be the seeds of war. So you saw Milley trying to calm down the Chinese. But then just a couple weeks later, when the president at the time, Donald Trump, issues this rogue memo on Afghanistan, it takes Chairman Milley and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien really aback. And they're wondering, is this president going outside of the channels to dictate major policy decisions like the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan? And this is all coupled with what happened over the summer of 2020 when President Trump was lashing out behind the scenes and at times publicly at Chairman Milley, at Attorney General William Barr, and others over the protests at Lafayette Square. So long story short, there are all these episodes, October 30th with the Chinese, the Afghanistan memo in November of 2020. Then there's a private meeting, a national security meeting on Iran, where the president's asking about maybe there are different options about attacking Iran that he seems quite interested in based on our reporting. So all of these things collectively form a new reality for some of the people around President Trump, including Chairman Milley, who then takes steps to reaffirm procedures on January 8th. And it does have echoes of what happened with Schlesinger, Secretary James Schlesinger in 1974 with Richard Nixon, which Bob knows so much about. But this is a chairman who's trying to operate within the bounds of his office as the senior military officer in the United States to try to make sure chaos doesn't happen, catastrophe, and most importantly, war does not happen. But he will have an opportunity to testify this coming week on Tuesday, I believe, and that's what's part of this system. Top people like Milley at times need to go under oath and face Congress.